Creo Brew is so good. If you haven't tried it, you definitely should. I know I say that every time, but it is what it is. It's so good. I'm just going to wait for a minute for a few more people to show up. If you're here, say Heidi Ho. That was yummy. All right, who's here? I see a few of you are here. Give me a hi. Good morning, KT from IA. Excuse my voice today, too. I think I'm coming down with something. And you know me, I'm a talker, so if something takes away my voice, it's not good. Hello, Clipped Feather. Welcome. All right. So it looks like we got a few people here. Oh, good morning, Karen. Hi from Our Spot. All right. Laura Trent, hello. Epiphany London, hello. All right. Are there any more that want to say hi? All right. So you tell me, how did Easter go for you? Do we have any confessions that need to be made? Do we need to talk about how to revamp your keto plan following a huge downfall? Do we need to talk about how we can stay strong in future holidays? Or did it go awesomely well for you? Did you stick to your keto plan? And if so, what was your Easter menu and things like that? Oh, I'm already laughing. Sorry, Osborne. I didn't mean to scare you with my little joke on my way in. Anybody else that fell for it, that really thought that I gave into the Easter candy on Easter? Yeah, let me know if you did. I really didn't think I was very good at lying. I think I could have been a little bit better actress, but it was, I don't know. I didn't want to look too real because I didn't want people to think that I really did it. I don't know. So I tried to lie not very well. Maybe I did too well. I don't know. All right. So my Easter went really well. I don't know if you guys are ever going to see it because I still haven't done the video from last week's What to Eat Wednesday. Still haven't edited it. So who knows when I'm going to get the one from this week edited. I am so sorry I'm so far behind, you guys. Like I told you, this is crazy. And it's even, this week is supposed to be spring break. And I have something every single day. In fact, I can't talk forever today. I probably can only do about 40 minutes because I actually have an appointment to get a massage. I got to do at least one thing for me this week, right? So I have an appointment to get a massage. I was going to start the chat earlier and it just didn't work out. So anyway, my Easter went great. We had delicious food. We had a delicious roast and we had turkey. We had gravy that we made with the drippings from the turkey and a little xanthan gum. And we had green salad, roasted cauliflower with cheese on top, and my plate looked divine. Even the people who were not keto, who were at our Easter feast, loved it. They were raving over the cauliflower, and my lovely sister made the best keto cheesecake. I will eventually add the recipe link below, but it's actually Keto Connect's keto cheesecake recipe. And she even did the confectioner's erythritol and everything. And so they tasted amazing. She made them in the cute little silicone cupcake cups and weighed them in exactly for our macros. So I didn't even have to do anything but enter it. My sister is awesome. Can I just say? And she is looking skinny. Oh my goodness. Jaws were on the floor when they saw her at Easter dinner. She is tiny, tiny, tiny. And now she is dealing with, what do you do when you've lost the weight and you have all these cravings and you're like, oh, I'm skinny. I can eat one chocolate bar. I can eat one package of gummy bears. It's not going to hurt me. But we all know that that's not true. And she told me she keeps thinking of me and me saying how bad it was to lose the weight, gain it back, and be that big again. She keeps thinking of me saying how awful that was and to keep her motivated. So that's how our Easter went. It was lovely. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Let's see how you guys fared. Let's see. Keto in the UK, Ginger, she says she did great, stayed keto through Easter. She had lots of meat. Sharon Durfee said she had peanut butter and Lily's chocolate. Good job, Sharon. So yeah, the beauty of not having like treat items all the time when you're doing keto is that when you have a special occasion, the keto treats actually do feel like a treat. So I don't have cheesecake every single day. I could if I wanted to. I could fit it in my macros. I could. But if I choose not to indulge in ketofied treats on the regular days, then the days that are special can be really special, and you can feel like you're eating a better treat than you normally would have because you didn't eat them every day. Does that make sense? Also, if you're doing the lower fat keto for fat loss like me, you can do a high fat day and eat lots of fat, and it's really, really fun because it's out of the norm. Whereas if you're already doing high fat, it becomes a little bit more challenging to do something that's more like special for holidays. All right, let's see. Sharon Durfee says she fell for my prank. I'm not a prankster, you guys. My kid was born on April Fool's Day, and I was so mad. I was in labor all freaking day on the 31st, and I didn't have her until like 1 a.m. on the 1st. And that really annoyed me. But I thought I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist doing one just for you guys because it was weigh-in. Let's see. Lori says she intentionally went off for 1 day. She didn't do anything too crazy, and she's back on now. That's great. I am not very good at doing that. I'm too afraid of it. If you guys can do it, that's great. But yeah, I can't do that. Sharon says I'm a great actress. Great. Acting was never my strong point. I've always wanted to be kind of an actress, but yeah, I was never that great at it. So thank you. I appreciate the compliment. KT from IA says, those of us that have followed you for a long while knew you were fooling us. Good. That's what I was hoping for. Okay. Karen, I don't know how to say your last name. Krnach. I would assume I actually don't know. KRN. I don't know how that is. But Karen had ham and mashed cauliflower, and she totally fell for my prank, and I'm sorry. Sharon Durfee says she's also in Utah. Cool. Fellow homegrown Utah here. Yep, I'm just south of Salt Lake City, so maybe someday all of us Utahns can get together for a meetup. That would be fun. Notice how I said meet up? Yeah, MEAT. All right. Karen said she also made keto cheese biscuits. Yum. Oh, the recipe for the cheesecakes, I'm assuming that's what you're asking for, Sharon. The recipe is going to be Keto Connect's recipe, and I actually don't know which one. So I have to get a hold of it from my sister and post it. Did I film any of Easter or Ruby's birthday party? Yes and no. I didn't really do a day in the life for Easter or her birthday party. I guess I could have, but I didn't want my family to feel too much on the spot. They all know I do YouTube, so they're all aware that if I have my phone out, they're going to be captured. I did take a snippet of our beautiful Easter table. I think if you guys are on my Facebook page and you look at my personal profile, I think I left the pictures of our Easter table public. So if you want to see the amazing Easter table that my mother put together, you will die. But I did film us all sitting at the table. They all said hello, and then I filmed my food, of course, like I always do, and the lovely cheesecake desserts. I forgot to film. We had root beer floats with a little bit of Halo Top vanilla ice cream and diet root beer. I forgot to film that part. And for Ruby's birthday, I totally was going to take cake flavored Halo Top to her party the next day, and I never did it. So I didn't film that. So I didn't really film a lot of Ruby's birthday. I did do a little thing of Ruby talking, just for posterity's sake, that I could stick in there if anyone wants to watch her. She was just saying over and over, I love dancing and kitties, and dancing and kitties, and dancing and kitties, over and over, or something like that. It was kind of cute, but... And you can see how she destroyed her Easter dress sitting in mud on the back of her before we even got pictures taken. And my 2-year-old also did that. And I had a little bit of a meltdown, but it never occurred to me to go to food to deal with my meltdown. I was just so devastated that they couldn't even like stay clean for a half an hour till we could get pictures done. So yeah, I didn't really do a lot of filming. I feel bad because I haven't really put together a lot of the videos I have filmed. So I feel like if I keep making more of them, it's just going to get me more and more behind. All right, let's see. Sharon says she dropped 3 pounds this week. Woohoo! Okay, so confession time. Sorry about my woohoo. I have no voice. Oh my gosh, you guys. What if my voice dies and YouTube will be dead? That would be so sad. I don't think it will. But for the last 10 years, my upper range, my vocal cords have actually stopped working. And I haven't seen a doctor to figure out why. I don't know if I have nodes on my cords or I don't know. I used to be a singer way back when, and now I'm singing in the men's section because of the only notes I can hit. And if I get sick, you can hear it affects my voice right away. I'm not even that sick. I can just feel that there's a little bit bothering me. But what I was going to say is that I know last week on Tuesday, I told you guys how much I weighed. And I told you guys I shouldn't have because I knew it was going to go up because it always does. I was 216 last Tuesday, and then I was 220 on weigh-in day, and today, 216.9. So, who knows what is up. But I am still swollen, so, here's hoping. I'm still retaining water. My weight's way lower than that. That's what I'm hoping for, because this week is actually usually my big gain weight week. I usually, when I'm coming up on the week after my cycle, I usually gain. So here, we'll see what happens, but I hope it keeps going down. Down is always nice. Ooh, Lori says she made her own peanut butter chocolate eggs by melting lilies and pouring it into molds and then putting peanut butter in it. Oh man, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to try that next year. That sounds good. I haven't eaten peanut butter since I started this. I've eaten peanuts occasionally. I think I eat peanuts probably once or twice a month, usually when we go out. But I haven't eaten any peanut butter, so that would be kind of a treat. I'd have to try that sometime. All right. So our spot says that he or she needs to start eating healthy again to help with training. So yeah, keto is great for cutting, especially if you've got any fat you got to get rid of. The macros that we use on Keto in the Chaos Facebook page are basically cutting macros. They're set for a deficit for a lean person. So if you're very overweight, they're an extreme deficit, and if you're not as much overweight, they are not as much of a deficit. It's a 35% deficit for a lean person is what our macros are set at. All right, Clipped Feather says, Easter went great here. My sister and I ketofied everything, and everyone loved it, even those not doing keto. I find that that's the blessing of being in charge of the food, that everyone's always happy with what we create and what we come up with. No one ever complains about having a delicious roast and turkey. And we did have mashed potatoes, but they basically hardly got touched. The only ones who ate were my older kids because I forgot to tell them to make them dairy-free for my allergy kids. So not very many people even ate the mashed potatoes. We had more people eating the cauliflower, and they hadn't tried it roasted like that and loved it. So we got converts. And my brother and his girlfriend who were there, they are going to start keto as well. So they are joining us soon. And so it's kind of spreading. The more we do it, the more our family sees our success. My and my sisters and my mom and my husband, and they want to do it too. So that's one nice thing about being in charge of the food is that you can show them what we eat, which is really, really nice. Yeah, I didn't pull any pranks on my kids except for a couple funny ones, and I didn't film them. So for my older kids, I didn't have a lot of money because of my daughter's birthday and various other things. I was kind of short on cash for Easter, which is why they had a lot of candy, because candy is cheap. And someone gave me a hard time about feeding my kids crap while I eat healthy. And I'm like, rolling my eyes. Do you see me rolling my eyes? Oh my Lord. Someone said on my weigh-in video, I don't understand why people eat healthy and feed their kids crap. Don't they love their kids? And my response was, I totally don't love my kids. It's totally the truth. Like, really? We all love our kids. We want them to be happy. They love candy. We give them candy. They're not going to die from it. And when they're older and if they have struggles with their weight, they can choose if they want to eat keto. They know I eat keto. They know why I eat it. They know how to eat it. My 15-year-old son chooses to eat keto a lot of the time. But they don't have to. I'm not going to make them. That's just going to cause them to want candy even more. So, yeah, whatever. Anyway, baskets. Pranks. So my older boys, my 19-year-old, I gave him 2 stacks of cups because we never have cups in this house. Yeah, like 76 cents for 4-pack cups at Walmart. I gave him that. And my 15-year-old, I gave him packs of bowls for the same reason. And they were like, is this an April Fool's? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. I needed them, so you get them in your basket. That's what happens when you get older, right? You just get what you get and you don't throw a fit. The little kids had fun things in their baskets. And my daughter also, she got perfume in hers, so I didn't really do anything to her. But my 22-year-old, so if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you know that my 22-year-old and I have struggled quite a bit. It has become agnostic. He does not believe in God. He thinks I am literally a crazy person, and he thinks he is the guru of YouTube. He doesn't choose to watch my channel, but he always has lots of advice on what's wrong with my channel. And I try to take his advice as much as I can because I want him to feel like I respect him, because I do. But anyway, he doesn't believe in God. And honestly, I don't really feel like I should have to buy him presents for Easter and Christmas because, come on, he doesn't even believe in the reason we're celebrating. But I do it anyway because I love him. So I found the coolest thing at Walmart. I found a lammy that when you put his hands together, he says the Lord's Prayer, and then you put his hands together again and he sings, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Oh my gosh, my voice. Sorry, guys. But he was so offended at first. He was just like, whatever, Mom. And I'm like, April Fools. And he was like, oh, He thought it was funny. He was the only one I pranked. I just couldn't resist. I actually bought that for my 2-year-old. And then when we were putting the baskets together, Chef Dave was the one who suggested we put it in my 22-year-old's basket for fun. And so we did. So that was the only real pranks we did. But one funny prank that happened that was totally unexpected and not planned was my sweet mother-in-law. She always brings the eggs to hide with all the treats in them for the little kids. And she brings us eggs to dye, and we dye them last after everybody has gone home. So we were getting ready to dye eggs, and my 7-year-old daughter was holding one of the eggs and accidentally dropped the egg on the floor. And it was raw. She forgot to boil them, or she grabbed the ones that she'd boiled, or she boiled the ones that were boiled twice. Nobody knows exactly how it happened, but we were trying to determine like which ones were safe to dye and which ones weren't. And she was dying because once Chef Dave, when he was little, played an April Fool's joke on his mom, and he boiled an egg, and he was going to throw it on the floor and be like, look, Mom, haha, and throw the egg, and it wasn't going to splat everywhere. Only he grabbed the wrong egg, and it did splat everywhere. And so it was like funny because it was a blast from the past. Oh my gosh, we were dying. So we ended up having to boil that other package of eggs that she brought. And the kids dyed eggs, and it was great. But that's all we did for pranking. I've never really been a prankster. If you guys did some stellar pranks, feel free to let me know what they were. I'll share them. Why not? Karen Kernach. Okay. So just like it says, K-R-N, Kern. Okay. Sorry about that. I always hate the live because I always feel like I'm saying people's names wrong. It's crazy. All right, Sharon, I think you're a little too far away for a meetup without a big plan, but we'll see. Capitol Reef. I've never even been to Capitol Reef, but I will have to see if we can sometime. This camera is totally distorting me, I feel like. I feel like my chin is really wide. I'm complaining about the camera again. Nope, not going to do that. I love this camera. All right. Okay, Keto in the UK says, Tammy, how do you manage to stay in ketosis with Halo Top? We just got it in the UK and jumped to it, but it threw me out of ketosis like a slap in the face. How much did you eat? If you ate the entire carton, you will be, boom, right out of ketosis. There are about 5 net carbs if you subtract the fiber. There are 14 to 16 total carbs per 1/2 cup. And there are 4 servings in a container. So if you ate all 4 servings, heck yeah, that will knock you out of ketosis and you will feel like crap. I only eat a 1/2 cup at a time. So like we had a root beer float and we scooped in exactly 64 grams into a cup and then did diet soda on top. And I'm totally fine when I do that. I can, if I haven't eaten any other carbs, do a 1/2 of a container. I did that on Christmas and I was okay. But I mean, people react differently to different sweeteners. It could be the sweetener. I don't know. And, like I don't want to really count net carbs on that either. So I try and keep my carbs. On days I have 1 serving, so 14 carbs worth of Halo Top, I try and keep my other carbs under 10 so that I'm 25 carbs or less, 24 carbs or less. So that's how I do it. We had only eaten the cheesecakes for carbs. The carbs in the cheesecakes were only 3. And so I had 6 carbs from the cheesecake. I did have some from the cauliflower. Can't remember how much cauliflower was. I'll have to go back and check. But I ended up being about 25 even with the 1/2 cup of Halo Top. So that is how you just have, it's portion size. You have to take, little bits of it, not a lot. All right. Let's see. Just TV5 asks, have you ever tried an egg fast and is it safe? No, I've never tried an egg fast. I really don't see the point of it. I stick to macros. And if you're going to do an egg fast, you would have to do the macros worth of eggs. And I actually can't do that because my fat is lower than my protein and eggs have about the same protein and fat. So I couldn't even eat enough eggs to meet my macros. So then my protein would be too low. My fats would be too high. I just can't see how it would be beneficial. You're getting the nutrition from one source of food. I don't get it. I feel like the only way that you're losing weight is because you're doing something different and you're probably under eating your protein. And so your body's probably losing muscle. So is it safe? I mean, it's not going to kill you. Is it the best choice? No. I mean, there's other ways. There are better ways to stimulate fat loss than going on any kind of extended fast. So one of the best ways to do it if you're a low carb, high fat ketoer is to try the high protein, lower fat. So basically lower your protein level and lower your fat level and raise your protein level. Man, I have not had Soleil today. My brain's not going to be good. So yeah, that's the best thing to do if you're already doing the high fat version is to lower your fats, raise your proteins. Try that for a couple of weeks and see if that kicks you back into gear. Another thing to do if you're already doing the higher protein, lower fat is to lower your fats by 10 for 6 days and then do a high fat day where you do equal fat, equal protein. So I would do 120 and just for 1 day and then go back to my normal. Sometimes just tricking your metabolism a little bit, playing with things can give you that boost. But honestly, it doesn't really seem to do anything. I've done that. I've not done that. And I stay in the same schedule. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks gaining, 2 weeks losing. And by the end of the month, I'm usually down 8 pounds a month. So I just say, keep on keeping on. Stay strong to keto. Don't confuse yourself or, try and do crazy things, crazy recipes, crazy fast diets. It's really not about getting into ketosis quick or having a fast drop of weight. What it is about is completely changing your mindset about what's healthy, what your body needs, and how you can live for the rest of your life. Because if you feel like you have to do crazy fad things in order to get your weight loss to go, and you don't feel like you can just do this long term, because I'll tell you what, even if you're only losing a pound a month, you're still losing a pound a month. You're doing it long term, you're eventually going to be at a healthy weight. And honestly, when you get to a healthy weight, my sister says it's really stressful because she has a hard time staying on now because she's basically at goal, and she feels like she can cheat here and there. And you really need to be able to not do that. So the longer it takes to lose the weight, the more of a habit it's going to be. So I don't suggest doing any kinds of fad things. If you really want to do a fad, the only one that I would suggest trying is a protein sparing modified fast. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. There's other channels that do, and there's Facebook pages that do, and there's a book you can buy. I think it's like $25 for the ebook on how to do that. But basically, is where you keep your protein level extremely high and your fats extremely low, and you do it for a short amount of time to cut fat. And that's the only fad diet that I feel like is worth trying because it's muscle mass sparing. They keep the protein really, really high. All right, let's see. Osborne says that her brother who had open heart surgery keeps berating her for eating salty and fat things. Yeah, but that's because his doctor told him that that's what got him to be to that place. And a lot of doctors have been taught that, and a lot of doctors believe it. But the new science that is out there is actually saying it's the inflammation caused by eating inflammatory foods and carbohydrates that are causing our arteries to block up and causing problems with the heart, not eating fat, not eating salt. So you can try and convince him by finding those studies and showing him that research, or you can just choose to ignore him and just say, yeah, okay, thank you, hon. I'm gonna be all right. Or go have your doctor check you out and show him your labs to prove that everything is fine. But if you feel like that is necessary. Okay. Sharon Durfee says, it's nobody's business how I raise my kids. You know, that is true to an extent, but it's also, I'm on YouTube, and there are 5,000 of you. Hello. I totally hit 5,000, Ginger. Anyway, there are 5,000 of you watching me, and a lot of people are going to have opinions, and I get that. Like, people on the internet have opinions. I'm not going to get too upset if people are like criticizing me, and I should expect it if I'm going to show how I raise my kids, that people are not going to like it. But you know what? I have 9 kids, and I do the best that I can. I'm not always the best mom. I do the best that I can. We're all doing the best that we can. And you know what? If my kid wants to eat candy, I'm going to let him. Because I'm softy. And I love him. And I might regret that later. I mean, my 5-year-old, she definitely is carb sensitive like me. She was born big, and she's stayed big, and she's definitely bigger than everybody her age. She's taller. She's heavier. She's rounder. But you know what? I'm not going to stress her about that when she's a little kid. I try and do the best I can to make sure she gets healthy options to eat. And I am not going to stress her out. When she is old enough to understand it and she wants to try it, then we'll go for that. Or if it gets to be to a point where it's seriously dangerous, we'll go for that. But as of now, I am not worried about my kids' weight. I keep them very, very active. They are dancing every single day for hours a day. And that is all I feel like I can do as a mom right now. I do not want to make them feel like their eating choices aren't wise. They see what I'm doing, and they do try and emulate that. And they know it's because I'm carb sensitive, just like some of them are allergic to things. That's how we've addressed it. So if they feel like they get to a point where they say, Mom, I think I'm carb sensitive, I want to try what you're doing, I will help them. But I'm not going to make my kids be keto just because I am. And just because some random person on the internet thinks I should. Whatever. Hi, Sarah. Pearls of Wisdom. I'm so glad you're here. She's home from running errands, and she's chatting with us. That's awesome. Sarah, you should, I would say you should do live chats, but you do chats every day. I don't know when you would do your live, but it would be fun if you did one. Oh, PJMS says, I have one of those sons who will be 25 in October. She says it's a thing. I would assume she means the whole not believing in God, telling your parents they're crazy thing. Yeah, I'm hoping it's just a thing. I'm hoping as he gets older and wiser, he will come back to God, because I don't know how I don't know how I survived. Like, I was a terrible teenager and I did a lot of things my parents told me not to do. But when it came to God, I always believed. And so it's hard for me to even wrap my brain around that. Hey, Nito Keto. How you doing, man? Good to see you here. A lot of my good friends are here, which is really awesome. If you guys haven't been to his channel, Neto Keto, definitely check him out. He knows his stuff. All right. Joy Stoddard says, hi, Tammy. I live in Utah too, and I've been doing keto 2 years and do my macros differently, but I've learned some good things from you. Well, hi. I come down your area quite a bit. My kids dance in Pleasant Grove and Orem area quite a bit. So maybe we'll have to get together. You are close enough for me to get together with you. We need to find out who's all close enough to me and get a meetup going on. Maybe we could go to Texas Roadhouse for prime rib. Hey, Joy, are you on my Facebook group? If you're not, get on the Facebook group so that we can make a plan over there. That'd be really great. All right. Chaya Lapin wants to know where we find the Sole water. You make it. So you can use any kind of sodium, any kind of yummy salt. I use pink Himalayan salt because that's just what I have on hand, but you can use gray sea salt or any other delicious sea salts. And all you do is you get a clear jar so that you can see through it. So say the jar is about that big, you fill it up about that much, a quarter to a third full of salt. Pour in water on top of it, shake it up a little bit, and then let it sit for 24 hours. Once the salt has gone to the bottom and the clear water has separated on the top, the clear water on top is Sole water. You can pour it out into another container and start your jar again. You do not have to get rid of the salt in the bottom. You just can add more water and keep that jar going. I have like 4 jars going at a time, so I never run out. And then I pour them off into a little container. It's called a GoStack, GoStack. I got it on Amazon. I just pour it into that container and take it with me wherever I go. I left it downstairs, or I'd show you it again. But that is how you get it. You make it with salt and water. And in a tablespoon or 15 milliliters of that clear water that's on the top, there's 1,400 approximately. If it was perfect, it would be 1,434 via chemistry, because that's the exact salination that water can achieve. If it's perfectly salinated. It's not always perfect. So 1,400 is what I say, approximate. 1,400 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon. So to get to the minimum sodium, you'd need 4 tablespoons a day. I do 6 tablespoons a day personally. So I do that's about what, 8,000 milligrams on top of what I put on my food. I don't count any of the salt that I put on my food or in my bacon or any of that. That's just my supplement. And it keeps me feeling energized and it keeps my brain working and all of that. All right, let's see. And I do have a video of how to make that. If you go search back, I wish that you could make lists. Like you can make playlists that have the things that you want on them, but you can't make like lists for people to find videos. And I swear I have like 160 videos. I don't know if I should go and delete some of them and like try and make it more streamlined or what. But the Sole video, if you're scrolling through, it's right after I got back from Disneyland. So if you see Disneyland vlogs, you've gone too far. So you click the videos tab, scroll down until you find Disneyland, and then come up and just, the picture is me holding the GoStack cup, and I think I'm wearing a black dress maybe and I have cleavage. That's what always drives me crazy because that dress was like low. I have cleavage that day. So if you look for the picture of me with cleavage holding a salt thing up, that's the one. And it says Sole water how to. You might just be able to search YouTube for Sole water how to and it might come up. I've never tried to do that. But there is a video on how to make it. Also, I talk about it quite a bit on how to make it. Like pretty much every live chat and pretty much every video on salt that I've done and my electrolytes. Oh, my sister's here. Angela Marie. Hi, everybody. Say hi, everybody. Okay. She says, I do struggle more with cravings now that I'm basically at goal, but I haven't given in once in 8 months. I came so close to eating candy last night, but I won't, and I didn't eat any. Woot. Good job, baby sister. I mean, if you're anything like me, it'll just be a struggle. Once you get out of ketosis, it's just really hard to get yourself even just here, to get your brain to go back to that place. I know people who can do it, but it's not me. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm not as skinny as you, so I don't know how I will feel, but I don't know. That makes me a little nervous for getting to my goal. All right. Oh, the cheesecakes were 4 carbs because she shaved 5 grams of Lily's chocolate on each cheesecake, which added 1 extra carb. Okay. Well, then maybe I went a little bit over more. I was probably at 26 then. 26 carbs. Not bad. I don't feel bad. I never had any crash the next day or anything, so I think we're good. Chaya says, trust me, in his heart, he believes in God. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. He's very analytical. He's always been that way. He's always questioned God. Even when he was really little, he would ask me questions that kids don't ask. You know, if God lived forever, who created God? Right? Or, how, if we live forever, who created us? Like, he's trying to wrap his brain around huge, big concepts when he was like 8 and 9 years old. So I guess it doesn't surprise me that he's turning to science more because it makes more sense. But I really do hope that he comes back. All right. PJMS said she starts, or he, I actually don't know. You guys need to put like names on. Started putting Soleil water and sparkling water, and it's helped with her energy levels. Yeah, I do that quite a bit. Actually, once a week, I go get a sparkling water just for fun, and I actually put Mio in it as well. Mio water enhancer, so that it's like a soda with salt, and it's yummy. I love it. So yeah, that's a really good tip. Sharon says she'll drive the 3 hours for Texas Roadhouse. All right, it's a date, and we'll put it on YouTube. We'll get that planned. That'll be fun. All right. Hi, Karen Rothwell. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're having some success. That's awesome. She's lost 2 pounds in the past 2 days, which is a ton of weight for her. So that's great. Karen did not believe me when I did my prank on YouTube. So I have to give her credit for that. All right. Yeah, PJMS says, I'm hopping my levels of sodium every day. My mom used to tell me that salt would harden my arteries. Oh, gosh. So not true. Have you guys ever read the book, Alas, Babylon? If you have not, you should. You can get it on Audible, and the guy who reads it is pretty amazing. But that was one thing that I learned years ago because I read Alas, Babylon, the need that the human body has for salt, and in an emergency, what a blessing it is to have a huge stockpile of it. So if you are an end of the world food storage guru, don't forget your huge, giant 10-pound bags of salt because you're going to need tons of it. I actually haven't worried too much about salt because we live near the Great Salt Lake, at least within a week's walk of getting there. So we have salt available if we could find a transportation way of doing that. So I'm not super worried about having tons of salt in my food storage. But I will tell you this, the human body cannot survive without it. Your brain turns off. Your body shuts down. Your organs will go into failure. You cannot live without salt. And that was one cool thing. I mean, Alas, Babylon was written, I think in 1960s, 1969 maybe. And they were talking about that kind of thing back then, that in a disaster, in the book, what happens is this one little town in the middle of Florida gets cut off from civilization because I think it was atomic bombs were blown in all of the major cities all around. And they just happened to be in this one area that wasn't affected by the fallout. But it was unreachable because a war was going on. They were left to their own devices for a very long time. And it talks about all the different things that they had to do to survive, what they did for water, what they did for sanitation, how people died just because they didn't want to live anymore. And Salt. Who knew? Well, when your freezer goes out, what will happen to all of your meat? You're going to have oodles of salt to make that meat last you. And they needed salt. They talked about the symptoms of low salt. They talked about keto flu. Their brains weren't working right. They weren't feeling good. And that was when they realized, oh, I need salt. And they started supplementing salt in their diets. They were in an area kind of like us where they were able to go and find salt in the earth and bring it back to where they were. So they were lucky that way. If they hadn't had that, they probably would have all perished. But of course, it's fiction. But I just got a kick out of that because I just reread that. I read that about 10 years ago and learned a lot from that book about what to do in an emergency, how to be prepared, and mentally prepared as well as emotionally prepared. But now reading it again this last week, I was cracking up over the salt thing because I'm like, oh my gosh, I had totally understood this salt thing long ago and I just didn't even realize it. It's so crazy. All right. Oh, another question. Hi, Tammy. Always love to see you. This is from Mega, not the Mega from Keto Connect, a different Mega. Do you eat salad and what's your favorite dressing? Thanks in advance. I eat salad whenever I go out. And usually if I'm going out, I'm not tracking perfectly my macros. I tend to eat ranch because it's lower in fat, but often I get blue cheese, especially if I'm doing a higher fat day. So ranch and blue cheese are my go-to dressings. You can make your own out of yogurt, like 0% Fage Greek yogurt and ranch packet, and make your own dressing that way. I just haven't really done that. My mother-in-law makes homemade ranch, but she puts a little milk in it, so it's got a little bit more carbs probably than regular ranch. But yeah, I stick to ranch probably just because it's the least carby. But I bet there's other ones I could try. It's just that they don't have them in restaurants and I don't have the nutrition information. And I know that ranch and blue cheese are generally safe carb-wise. If I'm eating a salad at home, then I could choose if I wanted to have a different dressing. I have been eating more salad the last few weeks, but that's mostly just because I've been going out more. So those are my favorite dressings. Hello from Russia. Hey, did you see we got permission to build a Mormon temple in Russia? We just announced it this last weekend at our church's general conference. India and Russia. My daughter is from India. She was born there and we adopted her from there. So the fact that India is getting a temple in Bengaluru is like the best news ever. And we're getting a temple in Russia as well. It's so amazing that the world is getting so small that, we're able to communicate with each other in different countries. People from Russia, Ukraine, people from China, people from Africa. People from Africa follow me all the time. It's amazing to me that people can live in Africa like the people of the Maasai. I have some friends who are Maasai who live on the Mara, and they live in huts. They cook on these little fire cook stove things, and they have dirt floors, and they have cell phones and cell service, and they communicate with us all the time. Blows my mind. It is fantastic. We can learn about other people, their cultures, their religions, their belief systems. The internet is such an amazing, amazing tool. And I can't believe I didn't start YouTube sooner. I could have talked about a lot of things over the last 10 years. Not losing weight though. Karen Rothwell has big bags of pink salt on her hurricane supplies list for this coming season because she's in Florida. Florida just gets their fair share of crap, don't they? If we did have a nuclear war, and there's so many places that would get hit over there, and the hurricanes, and having to always be going into shelters, and always, what a stress. But heck yeah, you got the beautiful beaches and the sun and the warmth and Disney World. I've never been to Disney World. I want to go to Disney World so bad. My daughter's going to go there for her senior trip next year, but I don't think she's inviting me. That's too bad. My cousin lived there for a long time and she kept trying to get us to come and I never did. But it looks like I may be coming to Georgia in September if I can find the cash. So if any of you live near Georgia, or if any of you Florida folks want to try and do a meetup in Georgia, I'll be in Georgia for probably a day, and then I'll be traveling up to Alabama. for the rest of the time, I think. I really don't know the plans yet. So I won't be going back down south, but I will be in Georgia. So maybe we could meet in the middle a little bit. I don't know. If you're anywhere near there, let me know. It'll be September. We should get together. It would be totally fun. Because I have never been to that part of the country. I've been back east when I was a teenager. I went to Maryland for about 2 weeks to become a nanny, and it didn't work out, and I got fired, and I had to travel the country on a bus to get home. Yeah. Long story. Apparently I wasn't that great at mothering back then. Or common sense, but I get why the people didn't like me, but yeah. So that's where I've been. So I've been up north, seen Boston, but I've never been to south. So I'm kind of excited that I'm going to get to make a trip out there for something that's not public yet. That will be sometime soon. But yeah, hopefully. And my sister might be going with me. So we'll see maybe we could all get together. That'd be awesome. All right. PJMS says salted meat is called pemmican. I've always been a salt addict, and maybe that's my body telling me I require a lot. Oh, and it's PJ, and I'm a chica. All right. So PJ is your name? Okay. Bless you, PJ. All right. I'm going to try really, really, really hard to remember that. And if I don't in the future, please feel free to remind me. Like I always tell people, I'm really good at remembering kids' names, but not so great at remembering adults' names. And on the internet, I'm the worst. Every time I'm posting advice on Keto Chaos on Facebook, I'm worried that I'm giving the same advice to the same people because I can't keep track of everybody, and I feel bad. There's a lot of you guys on there, and I can't be on very often. So, yeah. Anyway. Cool. Yeah, I've always been a salt addict too. I remember as a kid, I would put ice in a cup and pour salt on it and just eat the ice. I think I must have been iron deficient, and I probably needed the sodium. I don't exactly know why, but I need a higher level than most people. The 5,000 does not cut it for me. If I get 5,000, I'm miserable the next day. So yeah, I need a lot more. And Chaya is from South Africa. Have you been on here before? I think you have. I've talked about South Africa a bit before. I actually have a huge family from South Africa who live here in my neighborhood, who go to church with me, who are also Mormon. Well, duh, because they go to church with me. And they emigrated here from South Africa, and more of them keep coming. It's fun. Like it started out just one son and his wife, and now his mother and father, and then his now his brother and his sister. They're all living in the same house. It's kind of awesome. But yeah, they're fabulous people, and they're always telling us fun what do you call them? Life stories, like stories about things that happen to animals or people or whatever. Like, what do you call that? See, I need my Soleil water. Like fairy tale kind of things that are South African, and that's really fun. Come on down to Disney World and she'll meet you and give me the tour. Oh, just a few minutes from Alabama. Okay. I'll have to look at the map and see if I can make it happen. I would love to go to Disney World. Are you kidding me? I mean, if I'm going to come all the way over there and it's that close, yeah, maybe I should. All right. Cool. So we will be close enough to at least get together. So that'll be fun. All right. Amanda Gessler. She says, I know this is a change in subject, but I would like to hear you talk about weight in pregnancies. I know your last weight was difficult, and I wondered if you had advice. All of my pregnancies I've been overweight. So I have been pregnant a total of 10 times. I had 2 miscarriages and 8 live births, and we have 1 adopted child. So I have 9 children living. And I have gained weight with every single pregnancy. Some of them it was only 10 pounds. Some of them it was a lot. So my very last one, my 9th, I was well over 300 pounds. I had gone down to 225 before my 5-year-old. So 6 years ago, I had gotten down to 225, which was the thinnest I had been my entire adult life, and I felt amazing. I got pregnant with her, and I stayed sugar-free my whole pregnancy. I gained probably, I went up to 273. So I gained 50 pounds still, even not eating sugar. I did eat other carbs. And then after I had her, I was able to lose 30 pounds doing Isagenix, but it took 9 months and it was pure misery. And I was sick all the time and I didn't know why. And then I got pregnant again and had a miscarriage, got really depressed, went on a sugar binge. I ate everything in sight for 6 months and ended up being about 312 when I decided I would try to get pregnant again because I kept trying to lose weight. I kept trying to ditch the sugar and I couldn't. And so I thought, well, if I don't do it now, I'm going to be too big and I won't be able to have my last baby. And I felt that God was telling me I needed to have one more baby. And so we went for it. I don't know if it was the best choice. I got up to 373 during that pregnancy. I ate sugar so much, like so much sugar. After he was born, I was desperate to lose weight. I was able to get back down to 315. Also doing Isagenix again. But the Isagenix, I just felt so awful. It may have been low sodium. Now I think about it, it was pretty keto, but the shakes had 24 carbs each, so I don't know. I didn't lose fast enough and then I couldn't stay on it. So I dropped that and I just went back to what I was doing and ended up putting all of that weight back on to where I got to my highest weight at 374. Knowing what I know now, could I go back and tell myself what to do? Would I try and stay keto through my pregnancy? Yeah. Knowing how sensitive I am to carbs, I probably would. At the very least, I would keep my carbs under 50 and keep my fats really high. And try and stay in ketosis, but still have a lot more carbs in my diet. I know that it's not necessarily recommended to do a pregnancy with keto. So I always direct people to Keto Baby Gains or Keto Gains Baby, whatever that group is, just because I don't really personally have any advice and I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't tell you what to do. I know people who have stayed keto through their pregnancies, though, and been fine. But I can't say that I recommend 100% being keto, and I definitely don't recommend doing keto for fat loss during a pregnancy. You would have to do the high fat keto. I would probably do high protein, high fat, low carb is what I would do. That's the same recommendation I have for breastfeeding. I would have started sooner if I'd known about this while breastfeeding. I didn't feel like I could because I felt like I would lose my supply. And if I had understand what I understand now, I would know that I could just raise my fats to get enough calories to keep my supply up. So I waited until he was a year old and I was 374 pounds before I did anything. But I knew nothing. I knew nothing when I started. I started out of desperation because I thought I was going to die. My blood pressure was high during my pregnancy. It was high after I had my baby. I was supposed to take blood pressure pills, but I wouldn't because it made breastfeeding painful because I had Raynaud's syndrome in my nipples when I would have it. So I stopped taking it. And my blood pressure was 175 over 94, 95 every day for a year. And took about 3 months on keto. Yes, I ate the high sodium from the day I heard about it. And took 3 months on keto for my blood pressure to start going down. But it never went up. I watched it every day and it went down. So I guess my advice would be just, be careful. Talk to your doctor. Ask them. But knowing how sensitive I am to carbs, I wish I'd known about keto. Because maybe I wouldn't have to spend my whole life giant. I mean, I've been over 300 pounds for the most of my adult life. Okay. So Teresa from Keto Fat Girl No More went to her doc this week and she lowered her dosage on her blood pressure meds because she's doing so good. Awesome. And you're doing the sodium. I know you are. She's doing really high sodium. So that is fantastic. I love it. PJ says I should come to Canada one day. Maybe. If you guys get me rich on YouTube, maybe I could travel all over the place. That would be fun. But I'm totally not rich and I have 9 kids, so, is what it is. I did go to Cali. I just didn't know you, Teresa. I went to California last fall. You can see all my vlogs of Disney, how I stayed keto while we traveled. Did really great. And my sister stayed keto too. We both were keto during our entire Disneyland trip, and she was with me. Folk tales. Maybe folk tales was the word I was looking for. Fables. That's a good one. Folklore. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Yes, it is hard to decide when to have a baby when on a weight loss journey. You don't want what happened to me to happen to you. And like I said, I stayed sugar-free with Ruby and still gained 50 pounds because of the other carbs that I was eating. So if it were me, I would do as high of protein as I could handle, high of fat as I could handle, and then see if that everything goes well, you know. Definitely take your prenatals, all of that stuff. All right. Oh, thank you for your sympathy about my miscarriages. They were okay. I don't know. I didn't get that upset with the first one because it was only 5 weeks and I just kind of I barely found out, and then, you know, and then I got pregnant a couple months later. The second one was harder because I was 8 weeks, but it was a blighted ovum and a baby never grew. So I didn't really feel a loss, like I lost a baby. I just felt like the pregnancy was unsuccessful and that my same baby was still going to come to me. And I just had to wait 6 months before I felt like I could do it again. And I was older, so, you know, that's kind of what happens. Who is the salt doctor you read about? If you go to virtahealth.com, there's an article there by Dr. Stephen Phinney that talks about the sodium recommendations. So it's VIRTAHEALTH, virtahealth.com. And his blog has all the information about why I do the high protein too. All right. Okay, you guys, I'm late for my massage. I'm supposed to be there, I think. What time is it? Can I even see? Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to be there in 7 minutes. So I got to go because it's like a 15-minute drive and I still need to eat and take my Soleil water and all of that. But I am going for a full body massage and a foot zone. I'm going to be there for a couple of hours probably, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be nice to have some of the stress taken out of me. But I'm probably going to be in so much pain. So, thank you, everybody. We didn't have any creepy trolls today. That was nice. It was just us girls chatting and one boy. Edo keto. All right. And I know Nona Grace is going to watch this and she's going to be annoyed if I don't tell her what to do. So let's see. Film my massage. I'm going to be totally nudie. I don't think I'm going to film that. We'll see. I'll film my feet while she's doing a foot zone. I don't know if she'll like that either. Oh my heck. Nona Grace. Let's see. What are we going to ask Nona Grace to give? I know, since it's Easter time, how about if you use your emoji for prayer? And if you don't know how to do that, you can just do a winky face. All right. Thanks, everyone. I love you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.